Hello, my name is Jenkins, Managing Director of Packaging Innovation Consultancy, ThePackHub, and I'm delighted to be joined today by James Cutting, CEO at T=0. Hello, James. How are you today?
I'm brilliant, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to the chat.
Excellent. Right. I would love to know a little bit more about you and what you do.
Okay. Well, I'm a partner in T=0. T=0 is a company that is revolutionising the way that brand owners think about the artwork process and how they can dramatically improve speed to market and agility. A bit of background, I suppose, from my point of view, I've been in pre-media since I was 16, 32 years now. I was
Giving your age away.
You what, sorry?
Giving your age away.
Absolutely. I was an apprentice at a company called Highlands of Hull, which was wonderful. Highlands of Hull were a company that really invested in its people. It had an influx of probably 5 or 6 apprentices joining every year. So you had like a cohort of kids the same age, and I made friends for life through that. I got sent usual stuff. I got sent for a tin of tartan ink and a long stand and a hard clip to engineer. So I had the usual rite of passage for an apprentice in those days. I was very fortunate that I worked for David Keel, who's also a partner in T=0. And Dave was a great believer in self-development and investing in youth. So I got sent to Kitson College in Leeds on day release and did a City and Guilds in origination. And then from there, I did a degree in management, and then I did an MBA Saturdays and Sundays for a few years to get a master's degree. And then after that, I did an Institute of Directorship. So I was very lucky, I think, throughout my time with Highlands and then subsequently Trident. The company's really invested in me and helped with my self-development. So it was really great. And then, as I just mentioned, we were very lucky. I was very lucky to get involved with Trident as soon as Trident started. So there's Dave Keel was really the brains behind the idea. John Stevens, who is also a partner in T=0, myself and John were the first 2 artists, with a lady called Tracy Whitbread as well. I was a mediocre artist. I didn't last long as an artist. I moved to the sales side and worked with a guy called Graham Townsend, who sadly we lost this year, but Graham was a real hero within our industry. I think he's well recognised as a brilliant print expert, and he was part of Trident as well in the initial group of us. And Trident really grew very quickly. We grew it to about 60 million turnover and truly global. Myself and John Stevens spent 5 years in Cincinnati building Trident in the US. I came back to England because I missed Yorkshire, and John stayed in Texas. And I then became European MD of Sunoco Trident. But then I got headhunted to go and join Miller Graphics and help them really reinvigorate their UK operation, but also to head up their digital strategy and try and help them develop a new way of looking at digital data, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And then I was headhunted again to then move from Miller Graphics to go to SGS, Senior Vice President MD of SGS Co UK. And then from there, decided that it was the time to do something more on my own, and that's why we set up T=0. And I think, from my perspective, T=0 stands for the time is now, and we just felt with the emergence of so much amazing technology and really the inertia within pre-media, it was the time to do something a bit brave and revolutionary, and that's what T=0 is.
Excellent. So what a varied career you've had across a number of different organisations. So I guess that has really helped you in what you're doing in T=0. I mean, tell me a bit more about what it actually is you offer in terms of these thousands of artworks in seconds.
Yeah, T=0 really offers brand owners the potential to directly interact with their artworks through a browser. So instead of somebody collating lots of deliverables and then spending time briefing the supply chain, and then the job disappears into that supply chain black hole for 7 days, and they can just log on, find the artwork, modify the artwork, generate a print-ready PDF, and send it for approval. So what can take 7 to 10 days can take 7 to 10 minutes. And it's revolutionary. I think the other thing that we're developing are what we call brand maps, whereby you can influence an entire portfolio. So a brand map can be multiple sizes, it can be primary, secondary, tertiary packaging, it can be shipper labels, it can be 3D renders, A+ content. A brand map includes everything that you need to support omni-channel, and you could influence and directly change all of that data really quickly and very easily, again, through cloud-based browser environment.
You're really allowing your customers to take control of the process. Really
Absolutely. I mean, I think from our perspective, you look at these large organizations or any brand owner, they tend to have really highly skilled packaging technologists, really highly skilled marketing people, and often you have somebody who's acting like an air traffic controller trying to coordinate the process, and they're generally highly skilled as well. And what are they doing? They're spending the day chasing spreadsheets and chasing Word documents and chasing die lines, and rather than actually, why don't we allow these highly skilled people to influence the packaging directly?
Yes, and you can often have various generations of spreadsheets floating around, and that's how mistakes happen, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Trackers and all sorts of things. It just adds complexity. I think the overall process, the idea of taking a concept and moving it all the way to print-ready packaging data, so many touch points, so many people involved, so much potential for interpretation, so much potential for misinterpretation, therefore errors. That's what we're trying to eradicate.
So James, who else is involved at T=0?
Yeah, the team's an excellent team, really. We've got myself, Dave and John, who've worked together for 3 decades. And we met Gary Onslow, who's chairman of Itaris. Gary really is a genius, to be fair. He's somebody that I bonded with straight away. I mean, he's got such integrity, but he's also got such great vision, an exciting vision for the future. He works with a guy called Jamie Gardner, who's been involved in development of IP for some huge software companies. And again, when we get Dave and Jamie and John and Gary together, it's like a geek squad. I'm kind of the odd one out, but those guys together collectively sat on a table where they're going to take T=0, where they're going to take our software solution, and where they're going to take the industry. It is just, it's mind blowing. So it's a great team, and we've also got Mercher, who's involved from Canada. And Mercher is directly involved and has been for years in the automation of the back end of the process. So how to get the most out of the automation of reprographics. So yeah, we feel it's a really strong team and a group of people that have got the same passions, but more importantly, the same values. I'm really enjoying working with the group of people that I truly trust. And also with a group of people that have got that ambition to dramatically change an industry that's really plodded along for too long. Absolutely.
So in terms of, why is speed of turnaround so important? I mean, that's your main point of difference. I mean, why do you think that is so important?
Well, I think if brands want to win, speed to market is key. I think if every brand wants to get their product into the marketplace as quickly as possible, and I think to do that, you've got to leverage technology and you've got to utilize your resources effectively, and everything that T=0 is set up to do is to enable that.
Absolutely. And so what kind of results have you delivered for your clients then?
Yeah, startling, to be honest. We're new, we're a startup, so we've got one global client that's improved their speed to market by about 75%. We're doing trials with a number of large global companies currently, and they're predicting savings of 40% cost savings and up to 80 to 90% savings on speed to market. And we're getting a lot of traction. So it's a really, really exciting time. I don't think I've been excited about anything since myself, Dave, and John were involved in setting up Trident.
So is this something for clients large and small? Is this something for everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. I think mid-tier brands, it's ideal for anybody that's really got, brands that have multiple sizes, brands that have multiple languages, brands that have complexity of design. But it can work for a brand that has 200 designs and a brand that has 85,000 designs. It doesn't really matter. If you've got a brand that needs to have agility, but also control and brand consistency, then the software and the solution works for you.
Excellent. And what kind of people would be part of the process then? Obviously designers, but is it brand management and going to be?
Yeah, I mean, the way that we do it is we hold people's hand through the process, so we can support people as they transition towards a full SaaS solution. But yeah, the intention is that designers would work with the software, building brand maps. The internal resources within the brand owner themselves will then take over and manage the control of their own artworks. And then the print-ready data is then released to the printer, who will then develop blend files and step and repeat and do everything that they need to do.
Okay, and how long does it take for people to sort of be onboarded, so to speak?
Depends on the scale and the complexity of that brand owner. So, I mean, you know, for simple artworks, it can be done within weeks. If you want to transition, you know, all of your brands across all of your regions, and it might take 2 years. It just depends on that complexity. But I think that's the key. From our point of view, we've got the expertise and the partners to work with any brand owner and help them migrate towards that full SaaS solution. And that's our intention. You know, we don't want to be a middleman. We don't want to be sat in the middle between a designer and a printer just handling repro and artwork. We want to actively migrate the brand owner to a full SaaS solution. And that's when you get into the likes of predictive artwork process flows, where we link directly to PLM and SAP systems, and machine learning takes over, and there's really no need for anybody sat in the middle. That really is where we're heading, and it's just, you know, an unbelievably exciting time for graphics and data management solutions. So
time is money. So presumably, with all this efficiency changes, businesses see a real effect on their bottom line in terms of being able to save money on processes and the like.
Yeah, I mean, the traditional way of working is every time you interact with a piece of artwork, it costs you money. You know, every time you ask a supplier to make a change, it costs you money, it costs you time. Whereas what we do is we work on a subscription model, and brand owners pay a certain amount to manage X amount of activity. And that means that once that data's on there, they can interact with it as many times as they like, and it doesn't cost them anything. So there's savings in relation to this, you know, speed to market. There's savings in relation to the amount of effective utilization of their own resources. There's cost savings in relation to, you know, reducing the number of touch points, but also the whole methodology and the whole way that we look at the commercial aspect of the way T+0 is set up is there to drive significant savings.
Excellent. And you've already mentioned about your clients. So this is working for clients at the moment. You've got customers already operating and using this tool. Are you able to say a bit more about them, or what kind of companies they are?
Well, no, I mean, we've got companies in different markets. So we've got one that's a graphic arts business that producing globally pieces of data for the artwork industry. So that's one client. We've got a number of clients, food clients, health and beauty, numbers going through trials and tests at the moment. Beverage companies that we're talking to going into testing. So yeah, it's just, we're a startup. So as I said, a lot of these relationships are in their infancy. But what's exciting is how they predict this is going to change the way that they think and the way that they actually consider their whole artwork process.
So suitable for companies across all spectrum, food, beverage, cosmetics,
every industry. Yeah, I mean, we've also developed a really sophisticated rules engine, which means that you can validate your artwork against legislation, regulatory controls, brand controls, print constraints, and that's done to make sure that if you're interacting through the browser and building artworks and changing artworks, you can't make mistakes. So because of that high quality aspect of it, then it's great for pharmaceutical products, any industry that's got a lot of regulatory and legislations to consider, perfect for that.
Brilliant, excellent. Right. So how can people contact you then? What's the best way to, if people want to know more?
Yeah, email, james.cutting@t+0.com, my mobile, 07572023204, Paul. Mobile and email, best way.
Excellent. Well, thank you ever so much, James. That was absolutely fascinating. And thank you very much for your time.